Ondra, welcome back.
Hello, Adam. Yeah, it's great to be back after a while.
Yeah, when was it the last time?
I think it was when I was still at Piranha, like maybe my last year at Piranha, 2021 or something like that.
And now you are no more at Piranha. Where are you now?
Now I founded or co-founded a company called OmniFish with a few friends that used to work at Piranha at various times. With Aryan Times, who is well known, and then Jakarta EE, and we've previously even Java EE, several experts group. And David Matejček, who is not so well known, but he's now the project lead of GlassFish and the most active contributor to Eclipse GlassFish.
Wow, so not bad.
It's we work very well together, and we knew a lot about Piranha and GlassFish. They're still very much the same, although with our changes in Eclipse GlassFish, a lot of things got different in GlassFish, especially in the core things where we optimize things and fixed a lot of issues. But from the outside, it's more or less the same. It's just an application server with Jakarta EE, with clustering, and also now with the microservice runtime, which Piranha Micro has, or Piranha has with Piranha Micro. And we improved embedded GlassFish, not a very sexy name, but we made it runnable, so it basically works, and it's easy to configure with properties files and command line. So it's very similar to Piranha Micro.
More important question: are you from South Bohemia?
A little further to the east. I'm from Slovakia, or Western Slovakia. So it's,
and do you know Zhibovské Hady?
Oh, no.
No, because I had a podcast, it was a while ago, almost 1 year, with Mr. Ladislav Ton. You know him?
Yeah, I know his name, but I never met him in person.
He is a committer of CDI.
Yeah. He's one of the two main guys in CDI.
And the interesting part is, so at the beginning of the conversation, he told me that he does the Zhibovské Hady, which happens to be snake-like cookies, and it's really hard to make them, and he's from South Bohemia. So I thought, maybe you have experience with the Hady. And the unfortunate part is we lost the first part of the recording because I forgot actually to push the record button. So this is why I was cautious now. So if you don't know the Zhibovské Hady, are there any Christmas cookies in your area, Slovakia?
I don't know if we have special cookies, but the traditional, at least with my mother used to do, and a lot of people, at least in Slovakia, and I think also in parts of Czech Republic do, they create like 10 or 15 different types of cookies for Christmas.
What are the types? So now
I don't know. I think the most traditional that everybody has to have is called perník or medovník. It's in Slovakia and Czech. It's a different name, but it's like a honey or made from pasta with honey inside, and it's just like that. So you put it in the oven. And then you put on some egg, like on the top, like not really an egg, but you like cover it with this thin fur, like yeah. I don't know. I can find the really words. I'm not good at cooking in English.
But no problem. So we can practice. So it's just like you have to cover with eggs and something like, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's very thin, like I don't know what's the name, like on top of,
like a skin.
Yeah, like skin. Yes, exactly. And so that just to give it like a glancy look when you put it out of the oven, so it's like shiny. And then usually, like, we don't do it at home because it's a lot of work, but you can also put some white like coloring or white drawing on top of it.
Decoration.
Yeah, it can even be like in different forms. depends on which forms you have. It can be simple things like star, but it can be even like Santa Claus or anything, Christmas tree.
Cool.
And then you just decorate with this.
What is the next type of cookies? So we covered the, how to call it?
Medovník.
Medovník.
Yes, it's made from honey. And med is honey in Czech and Slovak language.
Okay, next one.
I don't know if there are any more traditional ones, but which I liked very much is like combination of a lot of candied fruits inside. And it's maybe it's like resembles raw bars, which you buy in the market, because it's almost like a raw thing. It's like no pasta in there, and then it's covered with these small pieces of coconut. And it's like a big thing, but then you slice it into thin slices, and you just eat the slices. So you can even eat it with your hand, and then just you eat it as bread. But it's sweet bread.
It's amazing. So your cookies have nothing to do with the cookies from Ladislav.
I don't know these snakes. I haven't heard about them.
He said he had trouble because he created the hardy, and the problem was that it was really hard to do the right length. You know, it is. So I thought you are also a master of cookies. But
no, I'm not a master. My mother is a master of all these cookies, and her mother.
You should ask your mother whether she knows.
I will ask, but I think the thing is that almost every village or every town in Czechia and Slovakia has different special cookies for Christmas. That's why we have a lot of them, and then they, in the old times, they were just like giving recipes when they talk about these. So a lot of the time when the family meets or friends meet before Christmas, like the wives or the women usually exchanged their recipes and then tried to bake a cookie of somebody else, and then just try to exchange the variation of the cookies. So there are a lot of them, and everybody does them differently, and some of them have like are common. But a lot of them are just very special, because if you want to do like 15 or so many types of cookies, you don't want to make the same every year. So sometimes they change.
Cool. So it sounds like a great idea for a reference implementation for OmniFish, right? Like cookie sharing system, cookie recipe sharing system, CRSS.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe now it makes sense, because before it was just on paper everything, and or they just
you could even have digitalization with LLMs, so you can scan the paper.
That would be amazing, because a lot of these recipes are just in some books, and I remember my grandmother, she had like a book manually handwritten, because they you couldn't buy easily recipe books. So all these recipes were handwritten manually, and to copy it, they didn't have copy machines, so they just rewrote. So everybody had their own books with recipes handwritten by themselves, and this was like passing on to the next generation, and then technology and internet came, so you can find most of these.
But this could be actually really important, because you said lots of small villages have different recipes, and they could get lost, right? So have such a system could be actually interesting.
Yeah,
you could have it even Google Maps. It's like, okay, this is Christmas, this is this village, this recipe, and this, and this could be actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be nowadays interesting for young generation, but it would be really, really interesting to capture all these recipes.
Yeah.
Or just if
so we captured already 2 on this podcast, so this is going in the right direction.
Yeah, but it's very amazing with the internet and the technology. A lot of people already do that. They don't like take a book and scan it, but they create a video according to some of these books, and then you can even see how people bake these things and prepare them. So no longer like guessing from the book, like okay, like, but the instructions are not always clear enough. They are clear enough for one to remember what they wrote, but if somebody else is going according to the recipe, it's harder. But on the internet, you can find a lot of people who shoot videos how to do these things, and then you can just follow. That's amazing on YouTube. I also
And how
try.
Christmas is celebrated in Slovakia because of the Christmas show?
Yeah, it's similar in Czech Republic and Slovakia. We celebrate on 24th, which is not the same as everywhere in the world. 24th evening, after the sun sets. And usually, at least in Slovakia, which is quite a religious country, we go to a cemetery to virtually meet with our predecessors there.
Oh, that's new. I never heard about this. I thought church, but cemetery, really?
Yeah, church is on. There is a midnight.
Okay.
How's that called? So some people go there, but only very religious. I never went to midnight to the church. But we have a tradition in our family to go to a cemetery and remember our predecessors. We used to go every Sunday when I lived there. Now I live in Prague, but I think my mom still goes there every Sunday just to light up a candle and clean up if there is a mess to have a nice,
yeah.
And Christmas we did the same also with some of our family members who didn't live in our household, grandparents. So we met at the cemetery, went together, lit up the candles, went there, and then we went home to have the dinner. When we were the kids, we couldn't wait until we get home, and then we still had to have a dinner before we could get the presents.
And what was the traditional dinner? What is the meal?
Yeah, the traditional, really traditional, is to buy a carp, the fish.
Fish.
And even if you dare, so buy it living, and then kill it before this, so you can buy it 2 days or 3 days in advance. Then you put it into bath. So that was a nice experience for us as a kids. We had a very big fish in the bath.
You could do some experiments, right? With the fish.
Another advantage for the kids, we didn't get to go to a shower. It was occupied by the. So yeah, we had some fun, and then luckily my father killed the fish. I didn't have to.
This was my next question: whether it was your job to kill the fish.
No, I really didn't like the killing the fish. But then I was helping my father to clean the fish, because it has small.
Yeah, no, it's on the outside of the fish. It's just
So you put them down, and then you have to put the skin down, and then you have to cut off the heads, and we also use the head for a soup, which is made also from fish, for all those things that we don't eat. So we put it there and then put it out after it's bought. So you have to remove the eyes also. So that's what. I don't know. Probably my father did it, but then when the fish was already killed, I didn't have problem to do it. It was just not so easy. But it was not very nice thing to.
This is more like Halloween show here.
That's why I don't do it anymore, because first it's a lot of mess, and the second it's really not nice for Christmas.
Yeah. And okay, there was the fish. What else?
Yeah, so we had the soup from the fish, but was not only from the fish. I liked the soup best. It was. We also bought some extra. I don't know, and again the names, but the fish has these organs inside that produce those small things when they replicate. And
this is
males have different ones than females, so they taste differently. And because a lot of people don't eat that, you can even buy them very cheaply, extra. You don't have to take it from a fish, but you can just buy it before Christmas, because it's a mess that people throw away. But we put it into the soup, And when it got boiled, it was very nice. Like some people didn't like it, but I really loved these organs.
This is a very special recipe, I would say.
Yeah, and it's very, very good. Like it tastes unlike anything else, but it's nice. It doesn't taste bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like meat, but with a special taste.
Interesting. Okay, soup, fish, and
then potato salad. That's
potato
like
salad
must have.
Cool.
And in Slovakia we do it differently than in Czech Republic. Slovakia we put cream inside and sometimes peas into it. So the basic thing is you have to cut potatoes into small pieces and then put it all together with these things and then keep it in the fridge for like a day until it all settles and then it gets the best taste. In Czech Republic, they do it differently. They put cucumber inside and also peas inside, but no cream. So it's different taste, but still potato salad. I like both of them because the cucumber puts like nice taste into the salad. But again, you have to put it away for a while and then eat it like the next day. And then we made a lot of these, like big bowl of these, and everybody ate it. So next day or the day after, everything was gone. We ate it for next day morning for breakfast, with as a like side dish for lunch, and even sometimes at dinner. And then it was gone, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's gone! What should I eat now?"
And this was the fish and the potato salad, and this was done, right? This was it?
No. Before all these, we come back. We also had like a pre-dish, which it was I probably know that like I don't know. It's like not a cake, but it's sweet, and it's either it's very difficult to find words, but it's like a sweet thing that you put. It's not very sweet. It's a bit sweet, but we put also honey on it and garlic. We liked garlic because garlic was like the tradition was garlic is very good for health. So we put small pieces. We cut spoons garlic into small pieces, and we soften it with honey, and it wasn't so bad. And it was like a tradition to have this before. I don't know where it came from. It might have come from like eating the bread when you were in church, when you like consume the body of the Christ. So it was similar, but we never took it as this religious tradition. We just took it as a Christmas tradition. We have this thing as a pre-dish, then we have the soup, then we have the fish, and that's it. No fish with the salad, and that's it. And then we look forward to the presents in the tree.
I remembered the German term is Schuppen from the fish, and scales is the small things of the skin of the fish.
Scales, yes.
Scales.
Yeah, and there are a lot of traditions in around the table, like with the scales. We used to put, like, my father took the biggest ones and the nicest ones, and he gave everybody under the plate one of them. So when we ate, we removed the plate, and there was this scale, and we were supposed to put it into the wallet, and it was supposed to make us rich.
Okay. Now to Apple Pay.
No, it's not so easy, yeah.
Yeah. That's actually a nice tradition. And so the fish, potato salad, and after the cookies, I guess.
Yeah, cookies were all around. Like we weren't allowed to eat much before the dinner, but then after dinner and next days we ate the cookies every time. Like after lunch, my mother brought some of them onto a plate and said, like, have some, like, as a dessert.
And what was your favorite present ever?
Present? When I was a child?
No, for Christmas.
Or for me or for somebody else?
Yeah, for you.
For me, nowadays I don't care too much.
No, but
from
before,
when I was
as a kid,
a kid, I think I think
Christmas
one of the
Okay.
like I have three that I can remember. One of them was a Lego set of a pirate ship. Because we used to like when I think that was when I was 7 or 8. But before we used to get Lego every year, but just a small Lego or just regular Lego. And then I saw these chimney cleaner
Mhm.
on the street, and then you're supposed to like touch your piece of shirt and say a wish for yourself, and when you see him. And that was once I never saw a chimney cleaner again. But I thought to myself I really loved Lego, so I want to get the Lego. And the next Christmas I got this special Lego. I didn't tell parents; it just happened that they put like better
Oh, wow,
of
this was an
Lego
accident.
for us. Yeah, so it was by accident. Maybe like it was natural, even if I didn't say the wish, I
But
would
these are
probably
cool,
get it.
actually.
But as a kid, like I was said, like this really works.
So yeah, perfect. So and now to the less interesting things like GlassFish.
Yeah.
So they are working for OmniFish, right? This is like or is your company basically?
Yeah, it's our company. I'm more or less like now a director or a CEO, but we don't have that role like formally.
Mhm.
But my role there is except I also do coding, but to basically run the business, to organize marketing, organize sales people. I talk to everybody. Well, other people are more focused on their job. Like Aryan is more about GlassFish or progressing GlassFish, and in Jakarta EE is
But
very
maybe
active.
we should also introduce the company because so you were always Java developer, and we had a podcast with you, but very briefly, what was your connection to Jakarta EE? So created lots of Jakarta EE and microprofile code, right?
Yes. So previously, when I worked at Piranha, or even before, so my story starts. Jakarta EE story starts right before I joined Piranha. Because I remember that I became more active on Twitter. I went to a conference. I saw everybody uses Twitter, so I started using it. I posted some things. I responded to people. Back then, there were real technical conversations, not about Trump, but about technology on Twitter.
Okay.
And I noticed that I saw that you
Maybe
noticed
we
me.
should create a framework Trump 4J, and then do the most popular Java framework ever.
Maybe I don't know. I think these things killed
The
Twitter
Christmas
eggs.
cookie sharing system would be Trump 4J, Exactly.
But back then we had real technical conversations there, and I saw that you noticed me somehow.
Mhm.
And even before I joined Pyra, but it was already I was almost joining Pyra, so I was interested in Java EE back then. That's why
I noticed
I
you
loved it.
said.
Yeah, you noticed me because you saw my responses in Twitter. Maybe I responded to you. I don't know.
But what you did in which area you were?
In Java EE.
Yeah,
Like,
but was specific, like
no, at that time I was just a user and interested in evolution of Java EE, so I used it in my work.
Okay.
And I liked it. I didn't really like. I cannot say I didn't like Spring because I'd never used it at that time. But I like the evolution of Java EE because at that time it was already past the dark age.
Yeah.
And was beginning the new age with Java EE 5 and 6.
But the interesting part is the dark ages were actually very short. So because everyone remembers, and if you think about this, it was from 2000 to maybe 2005. And then with 2005, we got annotations and you could delete all the XML.
Yes.
And now, that 15 years, the people still remember the XML. And this was a little bit crazy.
And the thing is, they don't remember it in Spring, but Spring used XML.
Spring had far more XML. This is why I never used XML, because in Spring, without XML, I couldn't do anything. So it was far more XML. And this is why I was absolutely not interested in Spring back then. Because
I think it's a matter of marketing, because Spring has a very good marketing. And they also did a lot of things right and faster than Java EE and Jakarta EE. So it was easier to market it because they had it first. When Java EE and Jakarta EE marketed it, it was already in Spring. and nobody cared. So everybody thinks that Java is these old EJP
Yeah, but
stuff.
to do that straight, it is not entirely true because, as you remember, Java E5 and 6, we had convention of a configuration with annotations. Back then, it started with @EJB. There was no @inject. But the point is, you just put @EJB, no XML.
Yes.
And what I remember is that the Spring criticized back then Java E that is not production ready because Spring had auto-wired annotation, so like a convention. This is what I only remember. And they said for production, you should not use auto-wired. You should explicitly set, the dependency, so everyone knows if you reach the XML what's going on. And then I said, I read this response, and for other reasons, I actually know when it was because I was in a workshop in Switzerland, so I remember the situation. And I read this. This is strange because in Spring supposed to be lightweight, so I would think that they would really like to have conventions and not be forced to declare everything because the Java E was inspired by Ruby on Rails actually. So they looked at Rails and they borrowed the ideas and renamed it a little bit. So there was convention of a configuration. And what they did in Java E and J2E, they said convention configuration by exception. So it is exceptional to configure the stuff, So this is the interesting part, the history. So it was really strange times, but regardless of that with Spring, but the point being is since 2005, you could have a very lean Java E, Jakarta EE, J2E applications, almost like now.
Yeah, you could, but the problem was the runtimes. The applications were nice.
GlassFish was perfect. So I started back then with GlassFish.
But you had to use GlassFish. If the company used WebLogic or WebSphere, you were stuck.
Yeah, WebSphere was strange. You're right.
There, I understand why people started using Spring because it allowed them to use the new stuff on old servers.
Yeah.
And that was a company where I worked in 2012. So it was already 7 years past what you're saying. The Java EE 5 or 6 or maybe even 7 was already around. But they had WebSphere and they didn't like to run WebSphere on development. So they chose Spring and they ran Spring on Tomcat in development and then deploy on WebSphere on production.
Which
and
is
it kind of make it is. But it kind of makes sense if you really are blocked by WebSphere. You could run on a different application server, but then you risk inconsistencies.
Exactly. This is what I got lots of contracts. There are lots of projects with task forces, which has problems with everything because they never tested the real thing. They mocked everything out, locally and never tested.
Even for us, like we on another job that actually was before, it was running on JBoss and Modify, or back then it was JBoss application server. And we hit these incompatibilities even with JBoss itself. We ran the open source version on development and the production version, enterprise on
and
production.
JBoss had a bad time, I think, with JBoss 5. It was not usable, actually. So this was the big time for GlassFish, where all the projects were migrated to GlassFish.
And then Oracle was interested in GlassFish.
Because this was a unique GlassFish story. Because GlassFish, why I was able to introduce GlassFish everywhere, because GlassFish was open source. You can immediately buy support, and it was reference implementation. So it's like the perfect storm. There was no vendor lock-in. Vendor could buy without changing, the runtime, the support, and it was also the reference implementation. So you were not depending on GlassFish because you worked against Jakarta EE and microprofile, and this is maybe why you also like GlassFish. And now you are GlassFish story continues with OmniFish, right? This is basically
yes. So it used to continue with Piranha before, which forked GlassFish. But then GlassFish was donated to Eclipse Foundation, and it was easy to contribute there. And Piranha decided not to contribute to GlassFish. They maintain their own fork. Sometimes they contribute some things, but not much. And who founded
so
OmniFish.
Are you, sorry to ask you, so is OmniFish or your company now the official successor of GlassFish. So you are the official GlassFish fork, if you will. Right?
No, we didn't create a fork. We
not a fork, the continuation.
But we are the continuation. Yes, without us, GlassFish would be probably dead already.
Yeah.
We
so you are the
most
GlassFish
of the
now.
Yeah. We are like in Piranha. It's simple because Piranha is the name of the server and also the name of the company. With GlassFish, it's GlassFish project in the Eclipse Foundation, but we are the company. OmniFish is the company that really drives GlassFish. Without OmniFish, it will be just an abandoned project, more or less. Maybe passing Jakarta EE because we need that to pass Jakarta EE, to release Jakarta EE. But even Jakarta EE would be delayed because there wouldn't be enough people to really put the GlassFish together and make it running and pass the TCK. So probably it would wait for either Piranha or Wildfire, and even Piranha would be delayed because we know that Piranha, at least for Jakarta E10, they took a lot of things from GlassFish, from what we did in GlassFish. They just pull it over to Piranha. Without our work, even Piranha would be much later with their releases. And it's another story of one small company contributed to a very important project, open source project, without so much funding because we're pretty small and we try to contribute as much to Jakarta EE. That's why we also became a member of Jakarta EE working group. And we're now leading GlassFish. But compared to others,
and you said now, so now we learned about you, but there's another shiny personality. It's the Aryan Times.
Yes.
And the interesting part, he was one of the lead of Jakarta EE security, so he knows, the OIDC, all security related stuff. He's the expert, right?
Yes, he's expert in security, expert in faces, JSF, and also probably in some other areas. Maybe not so much of an expert. He didn't write. He only, I think, wrote a book about security, faces, maybe dependency injection.
What he writes, what book you've written, and what you're doing right now, right?
Yes.
So he knows Java really well. So
what not so many people know, he was also like co-coordinator, so like an assistant or a deputy of coordinator for Jakarta E10. So we did a lot of work with pushing everybody forward to release new specifications and pulling everything together. Without him, again, Jakarta E10 would be probably delayed. Jakarta E11 was another story, but a lot of things get delayed in Jakarta EE because not so many people really work on it, or they say they will work on it, but then they delay and they have other priorities. While we as a company try to move things forward as much as we can with our small resources, because we're just a few, around 5 people in the company right now. And it's very crucial for Jakarta EE. Like for us, Jakarta EE is crucial because without that, GlassFish is just a server. Who would use it when they can use Spring or they can use Quarkus? But it's a continuation. We still have customers that started using GlassFish at GlassFish 2 or 3, like 15 years ago. And they were able to migrate to the latest GlassFish, and the application still works as before. And with new Java, with new Jakarta EE, everything modern.
So you get better performance for free, basically. So if you migrate even from Java 8 to Java 25, it will probably be 20% faster without doing anything. And your optimization on top of that, so you can just save money. And to hire
so that's the stability. Sometimes it's a bit tricky to upgrade, like especially when you upgrade from things like GlassFish 3 to GlassFish 7, where you jump several Java versions, several Java GlassFish releases. In some cases it was easy, but with one customer it was complicated because they had crazy complicated setup with a lot of customizations, custom libraries and things like that. But still, it's easier than upgrade most of the libraries out there. Even Spring Boot, I remember Spring Boot 2 and Spring Boot 3, a lot of pain with the security. All of the internet was crowded with these cries. how much more time people spent with migrating this stuff. With Jakarta EE, the biggest thing was the prefix change, and then we have a tool to automate this. Just need to know about it and use it. So Jakarta EE is very stable, and you can still run the same software that was running there before, 10 or 15 years ago.
This is actually, I don't talk about a lot because I did it, for years. But one of the story, I was a Java user group in Romania in 2011, I guess. And I always tried back then. I liked to show some code on stage, hacking Hello World basically, and how it feels. And I think I'm pretty sure I used GlassFish, but I didn't wanted to do something with Dracula, and they hated Dracula. This Transylvania. So okay, this is Dracula. It's a little bit odd. And then we started to create how to call it, liquor services, so distillery. Like there was like Zuitka and Palinka and stuff like that. And I remember all the Romanian liquors until now. I still remember the night actually. But the cool story is, it was maybe 2010, and I found the code again. I was at the conference this year, DevTalks, and I say, maybe I have it somewhere, and I found that, and the code looks almost like Quarkus. So the code is, I could maybe delete. There was no microprofile configuration, so I implemented my own, configurator. But leaving that besides, the project from back then could be very easy to migrate to now without any pain, thanks to Jakarta EE and microprofile. Because what I'm doing on Quarkus right now, I'm using Jakarta EE and microprofile, and I'm not using any Quarkus specific stuff, right? So I could migrate to GlassFish in a moment, no problem. It will run. I know exactly. There were few tweaks. I think I have to spend half an hour per application. It will run because there's too lazy applications properties and not MP config. There's some naming tweaks, and there are small things, but it could work. So I would say this Jakarta EE is as important as Linux, I would maybe say, because it covers the basis. So if you start coding, why to invent something? Just use what's already known. Just use add inject and request scoped or whatever, and it will work.
I always think about Jakarta EE, and I think it was meant like that, to be an extension to standard Java. So
exactly.
Another set of libraries. It's just a pity that in the beginning the runtimes were not so lightweight and not so nice. Because with Java is pretty nice.
They were nice, but large companies, they decided to use WebSphere, the big WebSphere, for instance, the classic. But they were always nice. Orion server, tiny. There was the where the Reza Rahman worked for. I forgot the server. It was the eBay used the server. It's also a tiny one. The first WebLogic were really small, one jar, almost like GlassFish. But then they went crazy. So they were there, the runtimes, but for unknown reasons, they decided, SOA and lots of libraries, and they did, I don't know, and a fusion reactor of the application server.
Maybe it was because back then Kubernetes and Docker didn't exist, so they had to manage, or they thought that they want to manage a lot of servers and clusters.
They had incentives in the companies to make everything reusable. The dream that you implement a service once with SOA and write a nice WSDL with all the tooling, it consumed lots of space, the entire SOAP and SOA and stuff, right? So there were huge conferences in Germany just about that, so as I remember.
It's crazy.
But I never used that, but I'll try to avoid.
I even don't like saying application servers, because application servers are those big beasts, and they usually have an administration console and configure them on the fly. Like that's what GlassFish also is. But I perceive Jakarta EE or these things as runtimes, so they can be implemented as servers, which is
it can be whatever you like. So, for instance, what I sometimes use, I use just the JSON-P, just JSON-P for configuration command line interface, for instance.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. Or you could just use CDI if you have a larger CLI.
And the thing is, some people complain that there's no JSON support in standard Java. So if you use Jakarta EE runtime, you have it.
You don't even have to runtime. This is one.
No, you can use a library, but then you have to find out which library and.
I used the GlassFish one.
I
used recently, last week, for serverless, just the library.
Yeah, that's nice. It's just the problem with these things that it's not so easy to find the documentation for individual components.
Actually, today I used this actually today, and the use case is to parse serverless Lambda event, and nicely, and with the JSON it works out of the box, one-liner, you know, get, and I have it. So
this is what I always wanted to have with Jakarta EE, so that it doesn't is not supported only by big servers or like complete servers, but also you have a nice collection of libraries that you can just pull in. Something that basically Quarkus does, or Spring Boot, that you pull different dependencies. But the point with Jakarta EE was always to provide the full set of things so that you can just code and it's there. But sometimes you really want to have a small application, not with a full runtime, but a library like that. And traditionally, Jakarta EE was not really friendly with this because.
But I also didn't want to have it. So my thinking back then was that I don't care about the individual libraries because the servers like GlassFish were great. So I think I used WebSphere in 2000 once. I had to. But actually not directly. I just built the application, someone and deployed this serverless. Someone else deployed the application. But then I think I always used something reasonable. So at the beginning, WebLogic, I remember until 2003, this was lots of WebLogic 8 projects. But WebLogic 8 was great, really. It started fast back then, even on that machine, so it was nothing to complain. And then I switched to JBoss and Whitefly because of demand. And then JBoss 5 had problems, and I switched everything to GlassFish. And then Piranha. This was basically the story. And then Quarkus. And this was my trajectory. And what I liked in GlassFish is I don't have to fiddle with all the libraries. I have one dependency and I'm ready to go. Because it is not worth the optimization. No, if you have the server, it just starts. Everything is there, and this is what I really liked. There was no fiddling, no thinking about what I need.
This nicely fits into my notion of a runtime. The problem before was that you first have to install the server and then run your application with it. In the same way as you install OpenJDK and then you run application with it. But if you already have OpenJDK installed, it's pretty easy to just download something on the internet and run it with OpenJDK. So there's no point really in downloading, installing OpenJDK and also installing server and then run some obscure command over the server to deploy the application. So that's why it's all started way earlier. And Micro did it. Even GlassFish did it in the beginning, but it was very raw. And then in GlassFish project now, we made the embedded GlassFish runnable, so you can also do it. And you just run the runtime from command line in the same way as we run Java, and you add the application to it. If you want to add configuration, you add it with properties or some other means. But the nice thing is that you can really separate the runtime and make it simple. With servers, you have to install things. With these runtimes, you don't always have to. If the runtime really can be run from command line, you just download it as a Maven dependency or whatever. Run it, you add your application. And this is what I was always missing in Spring Boot and other frameworks. They always bundled everything together. So in one way, it's easy because you can just pass it everywhere. You can just deploy it as an artifact. But another way, you cannot really easily upgrade the runtime and cannot easily change the runtime. And nowadays, you can even bundle Java with your application. But who does it? Most of the time, you want to upgrade, maintain Java installation separately and your application separately. So this is the flexibility you get with runtimes.
This is too interesting. So we should cover this next time because there are two angles on it. But what we cover, Arjan, you said 5 people. We should promote a little bit your expertise of a company. So who is the third one? You already said Mr.
David Matejček. So
nice guy.
He's very nice.
And Arjen is also very nice. So you're nice people so far. So
so that's why I chose them, because I like to work with them. And every one of us has a specific personality. So maybe we wouldn't work so well with other people, but together we fit nicely. And David is focused more on the deep technical stuff in GlassFish, and whenever we have really technical issues with some software component, we ask David to do it, because David.
And his name is David Matejček, right?
Yes.
Matejček. 218. There was an episode with him.
Yes, I think it was.
Yeah, exactly.
On the podcast. And he has a long story with GlassFish, then Piranha. Actually, once a very long time ago, he wrote a blog post about trying to compile GlassFish from sources, and then he always says like, I tried to do that, but then at the same time I found out that Piranha already did it, so I just started using Piranha.
Okay.
And he reported a lot of things, a lot of issues in Piranha, and probably even fixed them. Then he joined Piranha as a company. So we have a lot of expertise there. I'm not going to go into details why we left Piranha and decided to do
interesting
company.
Why that David, expertise is knows GlassFish code base, right? Basically.
Yes. Even before Piranha existed, he used GlassFish, I think 2 or 3, and was fixing issues there.
And he was the main contributor of GlassFish admin console, so he knows the.
Yeah, nowadays I don't think there's anybody who really knows how the admin console works.
Okay.
Because it's based on a very obscure framework and nobody wants to touch it. Woodstock. So the interesting thing, but I don't know if I have time, I will briefly mention. I found out a way how to change or hook into or modify the admin console to be able to create also plain JSF pages there. Because Woodstock is like, it's JSF, but it hooks into JSF and makes everything different. Because JSF provides a lot of customization
to a visual editor in NetBeans.
And I think it predates facelets like JSF2. So it was like an attempt to make facelets before they were standardized, and then the facelets came and these all became obsolete. But we added an option to create new pages and components in plain JSF, and we're trying to rewrite some, at least the most important stuff in JSF, so that it's easier to maintain, and then everybody can contribute and see how it works. But yeah, back then David probably knew a lot about it and fixed a lot of issues. He was even with Piranha, he was running his custom build, because Piranha in the beginning still had issues and he had to patch them. So he knew really how to work with Piranha code base. And then we decided to go to GlassFish to move it forward separately, because we felt that Piranha is not really moving in the right direction, not moving fast enough and keeping up with modern trends. And now we try to do that with GlassFish to keep it modern and running fast. And
three amigos. Who is the fourth one?
Then we have young contributor or young colleague in Brazil.
We are all young, so this is even younger than we. So it's kindergarten.
But this one is from kindergarten. Actually, just came out of university, I think, last year, and he started working with us. He contributed some interesting stuff. Like he contributed microprofile health from scratch.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, and because we thought about pulling some dependency from microprofile, and it was not easy because each dependency brought some other dependencies, and then we thought like microprofile health is really a simple API. So let's try it, and I think he did it in 2 weeks, and with some bugs, of course. But then we fixed the bugs, and it's going to be in GlassFish 7.1. Probably next week.
So you have a clean room implementation of microprofile health.
Yes.
Super cool. And why he started Jakarta? I have to invite him. So he's like excited about Jakarta EE, or what's his motivation?
His name is Tiago, and he's from Brazil. And he started with contributing to Piranha first, and we haven't talked about Piranha, maybe on some previous podcast. But Piranha is like an experimental framework where we have a new implementation of Servlet, which is very fast to start, very very lean, and can be easily embedded. And then on top of that, we try to port a lot of GlassFish functionality. If it exists as a separate component, then it's easy. But sometimes we have to extract it from GlassFish, package it as a separate component, and so that it can be used.
So Piranha is like from scratch implementation, alternative implementation.
Yeah, it's like reassembling GlassFish, taking the best parts and putting in.
So this should be the book, GlassFish, the best parts,
Yeah. Actually, yes. The GlassFish is the best part. And what is exceptional is that the new Servlet container from scratch. So that's not what is in GlassFish. Because
I had
GlassFish
actually Arjan on podcast. We talked about
Arjan worked on that container and also worked on pulling the dependency from or extracting the things from GlassFish. And there's another guy called Manfred Reim who works at Microsoft right now, I think. Still, I think. And he basically maintains Piranha, the framework.
He was always for the action-based Servlet framework, right? He was a
maybe, but I don't know what that means in context.
But he still works with Piranha, no, with OmniFish. So
yes, but he is not employed by. Manfred? He's a friend of the company because he still works at Microsoft. So he just leads the Piranha framework, and we joined him in this effort. But it's still experimental. We focus more on GlassFish because that's what companies use in production right now.
So what we learned is now, so if you have GlassFish or Jakarta EE product, your company can provide support. So you can buy support from your company. And because you are committers, you get good support, right? Because you know the code. So this is the first level support. There is no one in between. So you get, support from the sources.
Yes, we provide support, and we are the ones that lead GlassFish. So if you use GlassFish,
you are GlassFish, basically.
Yeah. So if you have some,
you need T-shirt. We are GlassFish.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
But
because what I thought is that you are fully based on GlassFish, but maybe for some, I don't know, legal issues or whatever, you had to fork it or whatever, but you are actually, this is the GlassFish code optimized. You are the main maintainer of GlassFish. You are GlassFish, basically.
Eclipse Foundation makes it transparent, so we cannot we don't own the GlassFish framework.
But no, you are maintaining this, you are the main maintainer of the most commits come from you.
Yes.
Unofficial GlassFish.
Same thing as Eclipse Jetty is powered by Webtide company, so not so many people know about it. But if you look at the page, you will see the connection.
Yeah,
and we're the same. We're there. If you go to the details about the project, yes.
Yeah.
So if you go to Eclipse, but Quarkus is now in the foundation,
but before, now could be considered this way, right?
So if you go to Eclipse project, GlassFish Eclipse project page, you will see the activity and the contributions by different companies, and OmniFish is there almost always with half of the work done, half of the commits.
Cool, listen, so what I would like to do is to reinvite you back and talk more specifically maybe about Jakarta EE and GlassFish. So what actually happened, and I also would like to invite Tiago, the kindergarten kid, to talk about the health checks.
With him. I think I wanted to talk about today also about AI and its role in Jakarta EE. I thought that we will have some more time.
So we can do next time.
So next time we can do that, definitely, because I think we have similar opinions on these, and I have some experience I can give. I shared at a talk recently in Munich. And I saw, by the way, I'm not a Spring advocate, obviously, but I have to admit that Spring is also good with AI, and there are two different, for different reasons than Jakarta EE.
Well, maybe as cliffhanger, what I appreciate in Jakarta EE is, because Jakarta EE was always open, all LLMs know exactly about Jakarta EE.
Yes.
And you can generate beautiful code.
This is the value of Jakarta EE.
This is the added value, absolute added value, and I didn't saw this
coming. And it really works. I was instructing AI to use specifications, look up the documentation, and I'll only use Jakarta EE standards, and it's pretty good at generating.
It's not code. It is extremely good. So far I never had any hallucination with that. I have to say with Jakarta EE or microprofile. But if I don't do Jakarta EE and microprofile, but different technologies, I mean, corner cases, I always get hallucinations. So this is the same model, the same IDE, everything the same. And this is huge difference. So, this is a cliffhanger. Where people can find you? on the internet?
Yeah, the best way to find me is to go to the OmniFish website, omnifish.ee. There is an about page where you can find also information about me and Arjan, David, everybody, my Twitter account, and other social media accounts. So that's the best way. Also on Twitter, it's Ondro Mich.
I will put it to the shows.
I try to use my nickname.
Ondro M, right?
Ondro M-I-H. Like first three letters from my surname.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm always happy to talk about Jakarta EE and how to move it forward.
Yeah. Thank you a lot, and see you next time.
Yeah, thanks, Adam.
We have to wait until it uploads.